Good God Almighty, it just came to me in real time. If you think about it like addition and subtraction, you got to be able to say no, because every time that you say no, you're putting up a boundary. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pathway to Results podcast. It is your Mickey Freaky Boy DG. We are here live and in effect. Look, this episode is for you. And sometimes we just need permission from others to give ourselves permission. You got to be able to say no. You got to be able to say no. And here's what the no is. The no is actually the yes of the heart. Good God Almighty, we getting started already. Every time that you say no to something that you know doesn't work, you're actually saying yes to the universe. You see how this works? I say no because it's not in alignment. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. If I can have the courage to say no energetically to the universe, I'm actually saying, yes, I am worth this. I am worthy. So I have to say this because I deal with I have a lot of business dealings, and sometimes business, the 3D mind, and you bring money in it, it can bring out the egoic shadow, the wounded parts of us that think that this deal or this money is going to make me enough, and people start doing things unconsciously. And I just kept seeing this reoccurring pattern in my life of like, dang, it's so hard. I got to keep saying no. I got to keep saying no. I got to keep saying no. Things that I had said yes to, and then it doesn't resonate anymore, and I got to say no. How many times has that ever happened to you in your life? Where you say yes at one point, and then you change. You said yes as a caterpillar, but now you're a butterfly. And things are different. And now you have to go back on your quote unquote word. It's not that you're going back on your word. You've evolved. You're not the same being. You may look the same, but energetically, you're on a completely different timeline. So the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of times, I had a mentor tell me one time, and it'll stick with me forever. I never forget when he told me this. He goes, a lot of times in life, you will be more defined by no than you will by saying yes. Meaning, every time that you say no, you're actually in alignment. You're actually in harmony with the heart. Because the heart tells you yes by saying no. Good God Almighty, it just came to me in real time. If you think about it like addition and subtraction. Every time we say yes, we have addition. Every time we say no, we have subtraction. Think about it. Yes is of the mind. No is of the heart. The heart is the feminine. The minus sign. The subtraction. The mind is the positive, atom, addition. Do you see? So we have to listen to know what our heart sounds like, but our heart speaks in terms of no's. The mind speaks in terms of yeses. This is why we get confused, because the heart's saying no, and the heart ain't going to shout and yell. The heart won't do that. The heart will say, no, this does not feel right. But then the head tries to figure out how to make it say yes. We got to turn this into a yes. I know I shouldn't do this. This doesn't feel right. Well, how do you know? I don't know. I just do. You see? And now we won't do what our heart's telling us to do because our head's trying to figure out a way, rationalizing, using logic, using intellect, thinking about past experiences. It wants to know where. It wants to know how. It wants to know when. It's trying to build the new house with the old bricks. But the heart didn't need any bricks. It already knew. So this is what I'm learning in my life. From business dealings, contractual obligations, and relationships, you got to be able to say no, because every time that you say no, you're putting up a boundary. And when you put up a boundary, you're protecting the space, the safe space of the heart. You're protecting the sacredness of the heart. And I mean sacred in the sense that it's timeless. It knows already everything, but I got to put up a boundary. And here's when you know you're in alignment with the heart, because it usually doesn't make sense in the world. We're living in a super three-dimensional world. We're moving into the heart space more. But a lot of people move out of their head space instead of their heart space. And when I move out of my heart space, I look weird. I look like I'm different. I look like an outcast. I look like an outlier. I look like the black swan. What is he doing? I thought he was a basketball coach. I thought he did basketball. What is he doing on this spiritual stuff? What is he doing this podcast and teaching people and coaching people? What is that? That's not the Derek Grant. I thought he was Derek Grant basketball. What? I'm just following my heart. My heart kept saying no. My heart kept saying no. But then guess what? The head said, yeah, but this is easy. We know how to do this. This is who you are. Okay, fine. I'll go ahead and do an NBA pre-draft for 8 weeks. I'll go ahead and sign up for an 8-week NBA pre-draft to help these guys get ready for the league. That's what the head's saying. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, this would be good. But the heart's saying, no, that life is over. That's not who we are anymore. But the head's like, yeah, but no, this is we hoopers. And now here I know it. Before I know it, 2-3 weeks in, I'm miserable. I'm like, why did I do this? Why? Because you didn't listen to your heart. So it's not about listening to our hearts, because we all know what our heart sounds like. It's about trusting thy heart. And this is the greatest thing that you could ever do to yourself, was to know what your heart sounded like and then to trust your heart. So how do we trust our heart, D? That's cool. Yeah. No, we get it. Yeah. That's awesome. How do I trust my heart? You trust your heart by first not trusting it. Remember I told you it operated in the law of opposites? You learn what your heart sounds like by you not listening to it and then getting burned, reflecting and saying, dang, I knew I shouldn't have. I knew this wasn't a good idea. I'm going through it right now. Literally a situation that happened 5 years ago, it's representing itself in a similar fashion. And all it is to see if I've learned from listening to my heart. And this time I know. And here's what I did. I knew what the no was 1.5 years ago. I knew I needed to say no. But I kept putting it off and kept putting it off and kept putting it off, waiting for someone else to say no for me. Good God Almighty, how many times we do that? You know you need to say no, but you're waiting for somebody else to say no. You know you don't need to be in that relationship. You know you don't need to be in that marriage. You know you need to quit that job and go after your passions. You know that. You know deep down inside, but guess what? You're waiting for somebody else to say, I don't want to be with you anymore. You waiting for them to cheat on you. You over here, you upset that they cheated, but you're actually happy because now you don't have to be in this relationship. You waiting for your boss to get angry at you so you can cuss them out. Why? So now you can fire me and I can go ahead and quit. Because I wouldn't listen to my heart even though when it was telling me. So by you saying no and listening to it and then trusting it, vibrationally you move into alignment with it. And here's the beauty of the heart. Because the heart already knows. Because the heart already has everything. Because the heart's only present. You will start to see life will correspond to what the heart was saying in a way that you never could have imagined. Here's the beauty of the heart, because it's how we feel. When we follow how we feel, we won't worry about how it looks anymore. So you won't worry about what people think about you and say, wait, so you're going to get out of this relationship? Wait, you're going to leave your job to go do what? What you going to do? You won't care anymore because you have fulfilled the thing that only mattered in life. It did not matter how something looked. That was what the head was worried about. That was what the ego worried about. What mattered was how life felt. That was the heart. So now when I move into vibrational alignment with the heart, I will have found everything that I was looking for. I will have found the peace. I will have found the joy, because it can only reside in the heart space. Do you see now why courage was so needed and why I speak on this so much, why you had to have courage? You had to tell yourself, I'm going to figure out a way. I don't care. Yeah, but what if I follow my heart and it doesn't work? I don't care. I'm going to figure out a way to make it work. And I'm just going to keep following my heart. I'm sitting on this podcast right now with you because I followed my heart. The universe forced me to. It put me in a situation that created such an energetic imbalance. I couldn't say no. I couldn't say yes. I had to say no to things. I had to, because it just didn't feel right. So if you're at that job, if you're afraid to start that new thing, if you're in a relationship and your heart's saying, no, this is not for us anymore. If you don't say no and take action and move towards what your heart's saying, here's what's going to end up happening. The universe is going to force you to. It's going to force you to, and sometimes it doesn't feel good. Sometimes it doesn't feel good. I'm not saying something catastrophic as a death or a car accident, but it could be. So I've just realized in my own life, and that's all this podcast is me sharing my journey with you to help you along your journey. Goodness gracious, how important it is to just be in alignment with the heart. Trust the heart. I got to say no. I know in material world, it looks like this is a great opportunity, but you know what? In my heart space, it's saying no. And for some reason, the heart knew. It knew already. We could get to the genetics of it. We get to the biology of it. Your heart was the first organ that was developed inside of your mom's womb when you were an embryo. Your heart was comprised of 40,000 neurons that could think, learn, and feel independently of the brain. And on average, it was milliseconds before being able to process information before the head was. So your heart knew before your head did. The heart knew. It was the knower. This was the gateway, the seat of intuition. Intuition is your inner teacher. But because we're so caught up in the head is louder. We never learn how the heart sounds. So I didn't want to make this long. I just wanted you to give yourself permission to start listening and following your heart here in 2024, truly. You'll know when you're doing it because it won't look like it makes sense in the world. And the reason why it doesn't make sense is because the mind is what this world is. The head is what the world is comprised of. That's the matrix. It has to make sense. We have to know how it's going to be. We have to know when it's going to happen. But that's why it doesn't make sense. How is this going to work? I don't know. I'll tell you after I do it. Yeah, but what if it doesn't work? Yeah, but what if it does? But what if people think I'm crazy? Well, what if people think you're the best thing since sliced bread? Do you see? So this is what it was about. I'm learning now. If we get to the metaphysics of it, your heart is nothing more than a vibrational particle accelerator. It's the thing that's collapsing this wave of pure potentiality that everything is. Everything is just light waves. And when the observer gave attention to something, it collapsed into a particle. And then that particle froze and materialized itself into matter. E equals mc squared. Energy and matter is the same thing times the constant, which is the speed of light. The speed of light was your thoughts. Your thoughts coupled with your heart. The particle accelerator, the thing that collapsed space and time. The thing that was a black hole in this three-dimensional reality that forced everything to flow towards it. When you did that, you would start to see that time and space would collapse towards it. So I could think of what I want with space, and then time was how long it took. The manifestation, the physical manifestation of what it was. I could do this through the heart space. So this is why when you start to see and you understand the power of your heart, why when you're feeling good and time is flowing and everything feels good, why time flies by, it's because your heart is just heavier, has more of an energetic imprint. It's collapsing the wave into a particle. It's accelerating this particle even more. Literally, it's like a black hole. It's like a bowling ball in a blanket, and everything's just flowing towards it. But you first had to know what your heart sounded like, more importantly, what it felt like. So take time to learn thy heart, to learn what it sounds like. What does it feel like? Pay attention to how you feel. Don't act on how you feel. You first have to reflect. Is this a feeling based off a subconscious wound, or is this, no, this is my intuition. And that's where only time, quote unquote time, is going to help you. You're going to learn over time, like, okay, I know what this sounds like. I know when it feels good. I know when it feels wrong. I know. And then start to trust it. As with anything, in order for something to work, to have this thing that we call trust, we have to have a relationship with it. So the more you have a relationship with your heart, the more you start listening to those no's, the more you can start to trust it. So as always, I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you nothing but heart-led endeavors on this journey. Here in a couple of weeks, we're going to take a 6-month journey where I'm going to help people release parts of themselves that were keeping them from listening to their heart. We're going to get rid of the parts of us that were created out of fear, the parts of us that were created out of anxiety, the parts of us that were created out of survival. Once we get rid of those, it'd be so much easier to hear our heart, because those parts of us were actually developed in the head and they got pushed down to the heart. So we're going to release. Get yourself signed up right now. It's a 6-month journey. I can guarantee you this. If you sign yourself up right now, I don't care what you're dealing with, by the end of these 6 months, you will be a completely different person. And you will have an inner peace, like my mama used to say, a peace beyond understanding. I'm looking forward to taking you on this journey. I will be right there with you. I will coach you through it all, and we'll do this together. I want you to go to dgmindset.com, find out information, see if it resonates with you. Listen to your heart. And until next time, I wish you nothing but the best on the pathway to your results.